So today we move on to mudita, joy. Joy can seem like a fluffy topic, but it's what sustains us. It's what sustains our heart, so it doesn't collapse under the weight of the stress and the worries. No. Let me begin with a question. How do you wake up in the morning? Does the mind immediately begin thinking about the problems that we had yesterday? Or scan for the reasons why life is hard, why change is difficult? Does it bring up familiar emotions like anxiety, worry, or rush, like we are already behind the 8 ball? Right. And then the mind or the body dutifully follows suit, producing stress chemicals in the body before the day has already begun. That's no way to wake up. That's no way to live a life. Because all it's making us do is relive the past, which strengthens and deepens the habit pattern of stress. No. What if we were to wake up and before we even moved, we turned and noticed the breath? What if we landed in the feeling of breathing, of the body breathing, which is nothing short of a miracle? And we laid there breathing and being for a few more minutes, letting this awareness sink in that we're alive, holy smokes, that we woke up, and that it won't always be so, but it is today. What if we were to lay there and notice the body, cozy and comfortable and relaxed in our bed, just for a few cycles of breathing? These moments bring forward the quiet joy of contentment. And that comes from just recognizing the ordinary miracle of breathing and being alive. Joy doesn't have one flavor. It has a range of expression. Often the subtler forms are missed in the busyness of our day, like noticing we woke up and that the body is still breathing, to the simple pleasure or delight, to ease, to wonder, to awe, and to the bouncy joy of exuberance and bliss. These are all joy, experiences of joy. Joy uplifts the heart, which is why it is a steady diet of joy that we need, especially in today's climate. What does joy feel like in you? What does contentment feel like? Or what about awe and wonder? Get familiar with the quieter joys that happen every day and with how they feel inside. This will do our hearts good. What does it feel like inside when you have your first cup of coffee or tea for the day, right? How does the mind and the body react? Notice, because likely there is a bit of satisfaction right there that can be found. This is what our little creature comforts give us, a little bit of pleasure. So why not raise our awareness and take full advantage of that? Receive the sprinkles of joy that we have inserted into our day. When we take a break from work and we fix ourselves a cup of coffee or tea or have a little snack, can that bit of relief be noticed and appreciated? I'm a therapist. And when I worked at Harvard, my office was the first office in a long hallway of therapist offices. And that meant everybody walked by me, staff, patients, everybody. And people would ask, what's going on in there? And I'd reply, hard work. You can get a lot of hard work done with a little bit of laughter and a light touch. I mean, people just hear us laughing. And why not? Oh my goodness. And then every afternoon, I would look forward to, I would savor the walk from my office outside the building over to Starbucks. The ritual of the break. Oh my goodness. It felt so good to be outside, fresh air, stretching my bones. And that joy of just like walking from here to there and having a little exchange with the server and then that sip of coffee. It was heaven. And I would take my time walking back to the office. Now this is what I call low-hanging fruit for joy. It comes in everyday life. There's nothing fancy to them, but every time we take a break, every time we enjoy one of our little creature comforts, one of our little rituals, can we notice, feel, and breathe? Savor the flavor. Our friend Rick Hansen, he's a psychologist and an expert in positive neuroplasticity, to use fancy words, says that it takes only 12 seconds, 12, to change neural pathways. Now that's good news. We can do almost anything for 12 seconds. And that means that if we savor the flavor of joy for 12 seconds, we're beginning to change. We're beginning to rewire the brain. And then there's the joy that comes on the heels of letting go of stress. And this is what we can feel in our meditation practice. And I really want to encourage all of you to pay attention to that. But because this one can be easily missed. It can happen anywhere, anytime, not just on the cushion. Maybe we've just hung up the phone from a frustrating conversation. Maybe we've just read or listened to the news, or the mind has just finished a rant of self-criticism or ruminating about something. Have you noticed how unpleasant, sticky thoughts create stress in the body? Now, have you noticed that when the conversation ends or we stop having that thought, when we wake up out of the slipstream of a negative thought pattern and drop down into the body, how when we feel the stress and breathe, and if we just kind of hang there with it, keep breathing and feeling that stress, it begins to break up. It's not going to stay in that same pattern if we're not following that thought. This is why coming out of the mind and dropping down into the body is an important instruction. Because once we drop down into the body, the stress has a chance to begin to unwind. And as we notice that unwinding and relief begins to come into view, now we can make much of that and come back and feel into the ease, the quiet joy of relief, the ease of the stress. And that ease can be found at the end of a release. Any release. So like notice that at the, and we notice releases often when we're sitting in practice at the end of an exhalation. So just hang there at the end of an exhalation and watch how the body just kind of begins to settle a little bit. And then make much of that, because that's that little bit of the joy of relief. Oh my goodness. It's refreshing for the system. Mudita joy begins with seeing it for ourselves, appreciating the big moments, sure, but mostly I'd like us to bring attention and bring to light these smaller moments in our everyday that are right under our noses, the low-hanging fruit. And we also can begin to create the conditions for joy to arise, like How about making a playlist of songs that are just joyful songs to listen to? Or what about a list of fun movies so that when you're really struggling, you learn how to deliberately change the channel and uplift the heart. These days, Bill and I love to, our thing is to watch uplifting movies. Nothing rough, nothing too wild, nothing that too jazzes up the system. I'm interested in the things that are kind of uplifting, joyful, or offer a certain quietude. And then there's laughter. We love to laugh. When do you laugh? Do you ever laugh alone just because something funny passes through your mind? Wonderful. Make much of that. Spontaneous joy brightens the whole system. But we can again deliberately bring it forward. So when Bill and I were on our long retreat, he used to slip cartoons under my door. And it was wonderful. It was like our just a little love message to brighten my day. Now you could, on a bad day, have a stash of cartoons on the ready to give to yourself. Give yourself a little uplift by, thumbing through them. So I thought I'd share with you just a little taste of our quirky humor. All right. So think of it as this is your 12 seconds. I'm offering you your 12 seconds of our quirky humor, and maybe it'll rewire a little of your brain. Hold on. Okay. All right, hold on. Number one. This is just a little lovely delight, but here's number one. Okay. And here I am worried about my purse and babushka clashing. Number two. It's a family in a jungle. Okay, I admit it. We're lost. But the important thing is to remain focused on whose fault it is. Now, remember, we're therapists, okay? We love weird therapist jokes. Okay. The guy's holding the axe, laying on the couch, the analytical couch, and he says, "You call it disturbing. I call it woodsy." Next, the couple. Love couples ones as well. We did couples therapists we were couples therapists for a long time. So this is a male figure saying, "Honey, can you let me know if this looks okay so I can disagree and wear it anyway?" And this one, a guy is holding up a cow, the top of the cow, and the other one is milking it on the bottom. And he says, "Sometimes to get the last bit, you have to tilt them." All right, last one. Car is being brought in to be fixed. The mechanic says, "I don't know what's wrong, but if you open and close the hood like this, it looks like the car's talking." Okay. There you have it. Our weird, quirky humor, our own world. Okay. And with that, I'd like you to take whatever little bit of joy came from that, take it into your practice. All right. And let's open up the body. Okay. Let's make some room. Take some nice big inhalations and exhalations. I want you all to know that I had the best time this morning going through all of our old cartoons and thinking, okay, which ones can I offer you today? Ah. So settle yourself into to as comfortable a seat as possible. Give the body whatever supports it needs. For me, I need a little extra support on for my neck and shoulders, so I give my upper body a little cushion to rest on. And gently close the eyes and bring the attention into the interior. And just feel the whole body sitting here. And see if it feels comfortable. Does it need any little adjustment so it can relax a little bit more? Breathing in, opening up the whole of the interior. Breathing out, softening and settling all the way down through the body into the base onto the ground. With each inhalation, receiving. With each exhalation, releasing and relaxing. And maybe flash on one of those cartoons in your mind's eye that made you smile. And let the whole body drink in the smile. Soften around the eyes, around the face and jaw. Let the shoulders relax down. Hands heavy. Belly soft. Breathe and feel into the comfort and ease. And let yourself enjoy what it feels like. Now, of course, the mind will wander away. And when it does, and you notice it, drop the attention down into the body. Let go of the thought, come into the body, feel it and breathe, and watch the stress unwind. And when the stress has unwind into ease, breathe and make much of the quiet joy of ease. Feel the softening and settling on the exhalation and at the very end of the exhalation. See if you can settle back a little bit more and feel into the receptive posture of breathing, and just sit here and let the breath breathe you. And then sense us sitting here with you and you sitting here with us. How nice it is to be in good company. And enjoy that experience of being alone together. Thank you all. Thank you for your kind attention and for your practice. Let me